All righty, folks. I don't know about you, but I am super excited to talk to this young man. We have talked regularly for years. He has gone off and disappeared for the last 9 months. We will hear more about that later. But really, what I want to do in this conversation is have a conversation about your W-2. We are obviously a real estate channel. We are obviously a channel full of people who had W-2s and earned financial freedom. We also live in a world where lots of people want to poo-poo the W-2. They want to talk about it being a prison. And I want to talk about your W-2 being the key to your financial future. Yes, folks, we are going to talk to Millennial Mike. What's going on, young man?
I'm so excited to be here. I slept a regular sleep schedule last night, didn't work night shift, got up early. I'm here to have an interview with one of my boys. I couldn't be more happy.
Well, let's tell everybody if they haven't heard, why did you disappear for 9 months?
I'll tell you, it's funny. I understand what Dion says when he makes the comment that he got promoted all the way down to CEO of the company. I was foolish enough to take a promotion from regular police officer to supervisor. And with that promotion came a promotion to night shift. You lose all your seniority. Yeah. You lose all your seniority. You lose all the perks of having enough time on to be on day shift with an easy schedule. And instead, I now work the busiest area in Seattle with the most people to supervise. We're constantly having to go out and respond to violent crimes and all these other different types of things. And so my schedule has just been destroyed. Most of the time, as soon as you go live, I've either been asleep for an hour or I'm on like my 4th hour of overtime. And I don't have the opportunity to come and do this as much anymore, which is very frustrating. But that's really what's happened to me, unfortunately.
And again, one of the things that's important is, there are seasons, right? I have lived through this, right? Again, I went from a career being an accountant to pre-sales to sales to sales management to second line. And there are seasons where life just sucks, right? It's very unbalanced. And when you're in it, it probably feels horrible. I just want to let you know, again, it's a season, and because it's a season, it doesn't last forever. So that light at the end of the tunnel, I don't know if you can see it. It is there. It's not a train. We just need to figure out how far away it is.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, watching you and Dion and the Lumberjack, that is the light. If you keep pushing, you will get to financial freedom. I think it's important. I've made only a couple of videos on my channel in the last few months, but what I've tried to highlight is that the W-2 income, it's just part of the process. I understand that I want to get to financial freedom. I have 27 rental units. A few of them are still being remodeled, so I'm only bringing in income for about 17 of them right now. And to a lot of people, they would say, well, shoot, that should be pretty close to financial freedom. And it is pretty close. But my W-2 income is still a very, very powerful tool that helps me make money, qualify for loans, to buy more rentals and to fund more remodel projects. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, the way that I got my very first rental was by doing exactly what I'm doing right now. I worked copious amounts of overtime so that I could figure out a way to save enough money to start getting invested in real estate. And I haven't had to work as much over the last few years as I've increased with the rental income. But ultimately, getting this promotion showed me again how much of an earning power that I have. And I've signed up for more overtimes. I've been like, it'd be a good idea if I did stack more cash on the sideline, work a little bit harder. So I'm working more. People reach out to me all the time. They go, are you okay? We haven't seen you or heard from you. And I do really appreciate that. I really do. I'm a single father, police officer, 27 rental units. And I make YouTube videos. And of those 4 things, the one that I had to let slide was the YouTube videos. I'm not going to let time with my kids slide or my health slide or my job slide.
Right.
Just how it is.
No, I think that's amazing. Well, I do got to check on one thing to make sure you've already put it on your schedule. Are you going to make it out to the Vegas event 15th and 16th, or are we going to miss you this year?
I wouldn't miss it for the world. I will be there. I'll be bringing my girlfriend I've managed to keep the entire YouTube thing a secret from her. She has no idea. So I think she's going to be real surprised when she's like, how do all these people know you? I'm like, I'm just that guy.
Oh, she is in for a world of she's in for a surprise. You got some very colorful friends that I'm sure
Yes.
will that will make that interesting. So that's good.
Yeah.
We're going to get to see you in Vegas. I'm happy about that. But let's try to help people understand seasons, because I really do have a particular aversion, right? I talked to Ryan Pineda and Sean Cannell and all these heavy hitters that really lean into being an entrepreneur. And I'm like Ed Millett, man. Ed Millett, I think, said one time only 90% of the people, or only 10% of the people are entrepreneurs. 90% of us are employees.
Hmm.
And you said such wise words earlier. Your job is almost like a superpower. It allows you to qualify for the best mortgage, get the best rates, do all of these things. So when you go to the office or the station, and I don't know what time it is, 10 o'clock, whatever time it is at night, you don't think of it as a prison, right? You're looking at it as, hey, this is one step closer to that, that light.
I would say yes and no. Yes, because absolutely it helps me make money. It's a shovel that I have to dig myself into this foundation I need for the rest of my life. But I am still a cop, and getting out there and working the road and making arrests is what I love. So now that I'm a supervisor and I spend more time in the office, I want to go out there and do something fun. So yes, conceptually you're right, but in my core, I want to go out there and chase people.
I love that. Again, you are a real life superhero. So let's talk to the people that are at the beginning of the journey, right? Let's go back to early Mike house hacking.
Sure.
No rentals yet, right? Having to save for the money.
Mm-hmm.
How do you tell someone that says, hey, I want to do this, but in Dion's case, it was like 2 years from the inspiration to buying the first rental. How do you stay engaged? How do you encourage people to keep moving forward?
It's funny. You always make the comment that you're broken. You can just focus on something and you can keep at it and keep after it, and you'll never give up. You'll keep pushing forward until you're successful.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I wonder how much of that is nature versus nurture. If I needed to find somebody that was a unmotivated, undisciplined individual, could I actually, with enough time and energy, turn that person into a successful individual? And I don't really know the answer. I really think that internal self-motivation has to be there. This is not an easy road. This is not simple. The work that's required, the stress that you're going to undergo, the time that you're going to put into not just working, but also studying a market for enough time to learn how to analyze the properties, and then making all the calls you need to do to network with people. I mean, all of that takes so much time, effort, and energy and interest that I don't know, if you lack internal motivation, whether or not you would ever make it to being successful. And so when people say, well, not everybody can do this, sometimes I have to sit there and say, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe you and me and a lot of the people who follow your channel, we really are just built different. We're broken. We want more, and we're willing to sacrifice for it.
Yeah, it's a very interesting conversation, because I like to believe, but it's not real, that everybody can do it, right? I believe everybody can, but most won't, and that's an important difference. And what I've often seen is, it's often called the why, right? What's your why? What's your why? And I don't know of a better word, so I'll stick with what's the why. But I often try to figure out from people early in the beginning is, why are you here? Right? Why did you stumble on this channel? Why did you read my book? What was the thing? And if the thing is some squishy, soft something, they're what I call a shooting star. They're going to come in, they're going to get excited by the sizzle, and they'll be gone in 5 seconds. But if their why is, I saw my family struggle, or, there's this thing that they can anchor on, dude, I will invest in that person, because they got a real shot, right? If your why is some deep down desire that won't be put out by, one, small breeze, that's the thing for me. That's the thing.
Only you are going to be able to work all of the overtime. Only you are going to be able to stay up late and get up early. Only you are going to be able to cut back on your spending. Only you are going to be able to motivate your wife or your kids or whatever you have out there. The only person who can take care of you and make it happen is you. Nobody else cares enough about you to do all of the necessary work to help you get to financial freedom. Ain't nobody worked all that overtime but me. And what it is that generates that purpose inside of me, I really think I have to point to my upbringing. I mean, I grew up so unbelievably poor. Could never go to soccer camp with my friends. We didn't have the video game systems. We would run out of the food stamps money with 5, 6, 7 days left in the month, every single month. And so you were just hungry, literally hungry, not the philosophical stay hungry, like hungry for the last few days and just hoping you would go to school to eat breakfast and lunch at school. And I hated being poor so much that at 8 years old, I was running around with little note cards, writing my phone number down, putting it in the mailboxes on people's porches so that they could call me to mow their lawn. And I look at my 8-year-old kid right now and I'm like, could he even push a lawnmower? How was I doing this at 8 years old? It's because I wanted Pokemon cards. That's why. Which was my first investment ever. I wanted some Pokemon cards. I wanted to be able to do some of the things the other kids did. And so, was that nurture? Was that nature? Was it already there? I mean, not all of my siblings are like me. We all grew up in the same environment. The only person who's going to dig you out of the hole is you. You have to want it bad enough. And I jokingly say, I just want it more than everybody else. I mean, obviously, I can't say that to you or the lumberjack or Dion, but to the average person, I just want it more. How badly do you want it? Have you asked yourself that question? What will you do? What are you not willing to do to get what you need or what you want?
Oh, I love that. Because again, the journey we're on is at a minimum 10-year journey. The first 5 years suck. All the things I've said for years, and it's all true, but it's also worth it. It's just, I mean, you get the luxury of interacting with people who got to the finish line, and we're all rooting you on to get there as fast as possible, which hopefully, you hopefully you can feel that, right? We're all cheering for you. But one of the things that I think's important, and we talked about this the first time we ever talked, was networking, right? And again, I admit things when I get them wrong. One of the things that I did wrong for 4 or 5 years is I didn't purposefully network. I didn't purposely get in new rooms, right? And I think there's so much value in that, right? Obviously, I run a school community, have a YouTube channel, all of that. But one of the things that you've done better than anybody I know in the last couple of years is you've used your little slivers of time to dominate a market, right? You often jokingly call, and I've heard other people call you the king of Gary, Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
And you're saying that from thousands of miles away.
Right.
Right. So again, you purposely create content, you purposely feed it, the machine. And let's just talk about the rewards. Talk about the deals that have come your way, private money that's come your way. Again, you don't have to have Graham Stephan's 4 million subs. You could have 4,000, but if they're the right 4,000, it changes the game.
Right. Yeah. I would say you don't even need 4,000. I would say if you can get 400, but those 400 are in your market, in your city, or in your county, that is all you need. I didn't realize when I first started making YouTube that it would be such a powerful benefit to my life when it comes to the networking aspect. I thought, yeah, sure, I'll make some videos. Maybe somewhere down the line, it might blow up. A bunch of people will watch it. That'd be pretty cool. What I didn't realize is that as I started to title videos, how to invest in Gary, Indiana, or how to do a long distance remodel in Gary, Indiana, was that the algorithm would start putting all of my videos right there for people to search when people type in Gary, Indiana real estate. You type in how to invest in real estate, you find hundreds of videos on the YouTube search page. I wouldn't be in the top 1,000 probably if you typed in how to invest in real estate. But if you type in how to invest in real estate in Gary, Indiana, I'm all of the top 50 videos that are there because I'm the only person making them. And so when I tell people to use social media, it's not because I expect them to get up to 60,000 subscribers like Michael Zuber or even 10,000 subscribers like me. It's because I want them to get to 300 in their city. And from those 300, I've gotten multiple deals because people type in real estate, Gary, Indiana, they watch a couple of my videos and they just reach out to me. Then a lead comes my way. I've gotten private money. I've met new people. I've gotten to attend events. You don't have to be famous or popular or an influencer to feel the benefits of social media if you niche it down enough to your specific area.
Yeah. Again, there's so many wise things. And again, this is what we're going to talk about in Vegas. You're going to kind of lead that discussion. That'll be your topic. And again, my events are very different because the audience will get to ask you questions, right? You'll riff for 20, 25 minutes, and then they're going to line up and ask you questions. And I hope that's where they go. Like, how'd you become the king of Gary, Indiana from freaking Seattle or Bellevue or wherever the hell you are? So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's talk about some of these deals you've taken down recently. I think earlier you said you're at 27, but you've got 8, 9, 10 in the remodel phase. What's going on in your portfolio?
Yeah, so at the beginning of this year, and I'm going to release the video on it soon. In fact, I did release a video walkthrough of this property before I bought it. And from the outside, it's what I call a Gary special. The roof is caving in. The front porch is so rotted out, we probably shouldn't have walked on it. We're walking through the house. There's mold. I get to the back staircase that goes down to the basement. The staircase that used to be there, I'm having to do like a pull up to let myself down to the basement. It's just needs to be a full gut rehab. Absolutely terrible. And I bought that, I want to say it was March, maybe February or March. And then over the last 6 months, I've done a complete gut rehab, new roof, new siding, new landscaping, completely new interiors, bathrooms, kitchen, floor, everything, total start to finish. And this thing has just now finished up. Literally, I got to call the power company in Gary after this because I just got the notification that the city inspector passed it and we can connect it to power now. And this thing's going to rent out for probably $1,200 for the top unit, $1,200 for the bottom unit. So $2,400 total. Well, it cost me $18,000 to buy and it cost me $80,000 to remodel. So I'm all in at just under $100K. I'll do a cash out refinance for the burst strategy. It's easily worth bare minimum $160. So I'll get all my money back. Likely it's worth $200. Get all my money back that I put in. And then I'll have a cash flowing rental property with $2,400 a month coming in with a $1,000 a month payment, maybe something like that. I mean, that's how you do deals. There's deals like that in lots of different markets. And there's also not deals like that in lots of markets, which is why it's important, I think, to not only just consider your backyard, but also look at investing at a distance. Because you might live somewhere, like you just mentioned, Bellevue or Seattle, where the average price of a house is over $1 million. And if you do get a rental there, the state and the county will be like, well, we're just going to let your tenants abuse you to no end.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Well, again, you are working towards financial freedom. You've seen Matt exit, Dion exit. We got connected after I'd already exited. Have you kind of, obviously you have a career that you love. So again, maybe you're going to just keep doing it, but have you looked out into the future and said, hey, maybe in 2 years, maybe in 4 years? Have you ever had that internal self-talk?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've been moving towards financial freedom. I mean, I'd like to make light of it and I make jokes about it, but like, yeah, I didn't get shot at this week. But in reality, I've been shot at a number of different times. I've been on the SWAT team for 6 years. I've been in some very dangerous situations. Which I consider a privilege because somebody has to go to resolve that problem, and I'm honored that I get to be there to help those people in their hour of need. But ultimately, I have a son. I want to have more kids, and I'm looking forward to being able to retire and coach my kid full time and be the most involved father that I possibly can be, while also working on my real estate, but reclaiming 60 or 70 hours a week. I think that probably I'll be right in between 2 to 3 years is my goal. Again, I've got a real big shovel with my W-2 income, and I have been digging and digging and digging. And what my plan is to take all of that money that I'm making, maybe pay off a couple, buy a couple more. I might even employ the strategy of, I got all these rentals. If I just sell one, I could wipe the debt out on a whole bunch of others. That would take my cash flow up, not my cash on cash return. But realistically, cash on cash return is a metric that's great for assessing rental properties. But if you're trying to hit financial freedom, really what you care about is how much cash flow. And that's the Dion strategy. How much positive monthly cash flow do I need to live the way that I want? And not just get caught up in the prettiest return on investment you can brag to other elites that are in the real estate investing market with.
No, I mean, Dion is, man, he is just wicked smart, that guy. And he's a wonderful teacher and mentor to myself and lots of other people. There's he goes by the lazy landlord, as you know, and one of his sayings that really hit me hard was, if you've won the game, stop playing.
Right.
Right. And that's what you just talked about, right? There is a way that you could look at your portfolio, make a couple of moves. One of those moves could be selling a property, then take the debt or take the equity that you're going to get, the check, pay off some others. And you're like, wow, cash flow just jumped $3,000.
Yeah.
That doesn't suck.
No, not at all. Yeah. It's something that I do think about it all the time because, ultimately I want to spend more time with my family and I want to have a family. I've been doing all of this now for 6 years, and I mean, I'll keep doing it for the rest of my life. But the being a police officer thing, as we talked about at the very beginning, it was a lot easier to work night shift when I was 24 than now that I'm 34. Now it hurts. Now that I have a kid, it sucks. And I know I'm not that old, but like I kind of feel that old when you work 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. and then you end up working at 10 a.m. It kind of sucks.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. Well, you are going to be in the Vegas event. You do have a wonderful YouTube channel, Millennial Mike. Where else can we send them?
If you just type in Millennial Mike on Google or Instagram or YouTube, you should find me lounging about. And of course, my favorite place to be found is right here on the One Rental at a Time channel, of which I've been a subscriber for far longer than you, because again, I'm that guy and I'm just better than you guys. I've been there since before 2,000 subs. Try to get on my level.
There you go. Thanks, family.